Ah! Jesus. God damn it, dude. I hate her so much. Hello, and not. Gotta do it again. That's how you know it's been a while. Oh boy. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 17 of my Tsukihime: A Piece of Blue Glass Moon dramatic reading. For those of you who are unaware, my name is BerserkChip. I do dramatic readings of visual novels, which means I turn voice acting off if there is any, and I do all the voices audiobook style. So if you've ever seen the Harry Potter audiobooks series, I do something akin to that. Last we left off, Noelle had revealed herself to be a executor from the Burial Agency, which is an organization that works for the church to hunt vampires. And I believe after that, we said, I think Shiki just went to bed, I think is what happened after that. So, with that out of the way, let us continue from where we left off. Uh-oh. That's not good, huh? White. A color that evokes nostalgic memories. Things that have been forgotten. Things that shouldn't have been forgotten. Things that my father ordered me to forget. A hot summer day. A blue sky with huge, towering cumulonimbus clouds. A landscape blanketed in a shimmering haze. And the overwhelming cries of the cicadas. The sound of cicadas. It's so loud that I want to die. The husks of cicadas litter the open ground. This space is slowly being burned away, as though the sun is right on top of us. A hot day in the middle of summer, as if the world had turned into a frying pan. Akiha is crying. Akiha, who had always meekly followed us around, is sobbing uncontrollably. A child lies crumpled in the clearing. A deep red stain had blossomed on their white shirt. They don't move so much as an eyebrow. I'm gazing down at the scene before me. My hands are red, red like the child collapsed in a heap on the floor. No, that's not right. My hands are red, red with the blood of the living being collapsed in a heap on the floor. The adults have arrived. As they realize what they're looking at, the color drains from their faces. What have you done? The adults take Akiha away. The collapsed child remains dead. Brilliant white clouds drift across the distant sky. I'm left all alone, staring vacantly up into the summer sky above. Are you the one that killed him? The adults are screaming at me. They're screaming the name of the person who killed that child. My name. They scream just 2 syllables over and over, as though they've lost their minds. Just 2 syllables. The adults form into a group and pin me down en masse. Me with my hands stained deep red. Me, the one they call Shiki. Even now, I still don't understand it. Killing those you can kill. Killing those that live. What exactly is wrong with that? I open my eyes. I feel like I just saw quite a nostalgic dream, one I couldn't fully understand. I'm in my room. After the events of last night, my memories of what happened by the main gate are a little hazy, but it seems like I managed to make it back to my room, one way or another. My mind obstinately refuses to work properly. Last night's events come back to me in a jumbled mess. Everything was so ridiculous that it's hard for me to put my thoughts in order. But there's one thing that stands out. If there's one thing that stands out, it's Arcueid, the shadowy figure, or Noelle Sensei. Well, technically the shadowy figure probably stands out more than anything. Because it's the main villain, Roa. But, anybody who knows me knows who I'm gonna pick. Noelle Sensei. No. Just Noelle. If you think about it calmly, it sounds absurd. The homeroom teacher who transferred out of nowhere, the self-proclaimed beautiful teacher, is, in reality, a habit-wearing One-san that came to protect the city from vampires? There's a limit to what one can believe. Arcueid's introduction may have left me stunned, but Noelle's simply defies all logic. If someone told me everything that happened last night was a dream, I would have happily gone along with that lie. However, all joking aside, that was no dream. That woman is a human from the same world as Arcueid. A human dedicated to killing vampires. A human dedicated to protecting the city. But she's also a human whose way of speaking belies a fundamental difference between us. She almost certainly aims to eliminate vampires from the face of the earth. I'm willing to bet that Arcueid, and her accomplices, such as myself, are no exceptions. Anyway, I'd better get up. I still have plenty of things I need to think about, but right now, I need to get myself out of bed. The time is 7:30. I'd normally be long finished with breakfast by this hour. Hisui isn't here. She's normally standing deferentially to the side of the room, but there's no sign of her today. She must have already tried to wake me several times. I assume that since I wouldn't wake up, she's stepping out of the room between attempts to tend to her other duties. I guess I wore myself out so badly, I couldn't even wake up. I take a deep breath. This time, I'll take a nap before I meet up with Arcueid for the evening. I won't think about all the strange things that happened last night for now. I should save that for tonight and discuss them with Arcueid. If I can't even live an ordinary life during the day, I might end up doing something drastic. Right, I'll start by eating breakfast. I may not have an appetite, but you can't start the day on an empty stomach. A proper breakfast should help clear any lingering fatigue from last night. I lift myself out of bed, but my body just comes crashing right back down again. I'm like a tree being felled by a lumberjack. I fall straight down, slamming my shoulder into the wooden floor. There's no strength in my limbs. I can't even get up. On the bright side, my consciousness is a bit hazy, so I don't feel afraid. My body may be totally numb, but at least my breathing is normal. My anemia again, I think to myself indifferently. And so, I simply lay where I fell. I watched the hands of the clock tick by as I waited for Hisui to call on me again, which ended up being just past 8 o'clock.
I sincerely apologize. Please, punish me as you see fit. I did not notice that anything was amiss. I'm to blame for my oversight.
It's not your fault. This happens all the time. It's not that big of a deal, honest. I try and talk Hisui down off the ledge while lying in bed, the upper half of my body propped against the headboard. Hisui had found me collapsed on the floor when she came back to check on the room and helped me back into bed, where I'm now resting comfortably. How did she do that exactly? I thought she was too scared to touch anybody.
Nason has contacted the school for us. I assumed that you would not be attending today in light of your present condition. Was that correct?
Yeah, thanks. I feel a little guilty for taking the day off, though. Especially for something as minor as a bit of accumulated fatigue.
I believe that when you're no longer capable of standing up, fatigue is no longer the appropriate word. You're the eldest son of the Tohno family. It'll be a problem if you do not take better care of your body.
Hey, I'm taking care of it. Hisui scolds me, and I respond while putting on a forced smile. It's incredible just how panicked Hisui was after finding me on the floor. When she first opened the door, she froze in her tracks for a few seconds. Next, she rushed over as though to hoist me upright, but then seized up with a strained look on her face for another minute. She then spent another few minutes pacing anxiously around the room, before finally going to call for Kohaku-san. In the end, Hisui never actually touched my body, but I could still tell how devoted she was. After that, I returned to the bed with Kohaku-san's assistance, was treated to some easy-to-digest rice porridge, and now, here we are. The one silver lining in all this is that Akiha had already left for school. If I had collapsed 30 minutes earlier, she might have ended up late for school as well. Anyway, thank you, Hisui. I've had a delicious meal, and if I keep resting like this, my anemia will clear up in no time. It's alright if you need to get back to your duties.
Understood. However, I strongly suggest that you receive a medical examination. Arc-sensei happens to be present this morning. Perhaps you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity to receive a thorough physical examination.
Oh, that eccentric doctor is here as well. To be honest, I don't need a medical exam, but I don't think Hisui will leave unless I agree. If I have to... I'd much rather have Kohaku-san do it. But we already skipped her once. So yeah, alright, fine. Just this once, goddammit. That's right. Kohaku-san is probably busy enough as it is with her duties as a maid. I'll ask Professor Arak to handle this instead. I may have a bit of a hard time feeling at ease around her, but I can't deny that she's a professional. Since she specializes in surgery, I should have her examine my wounds. There's also a chance that I suffered some heavy bruising as a result of my scuffle with Noelle-sensei last night. So it might be wise to have her check for that too, just to be on the safe side. Ah! Jesus. God damn it, dude. I hate her so much. I came because I heard you requested me personally, but... My dear man, there doesn't appear to be anything wrong with you. I rushed over here expecting some excitement, like a blown-off arm or a gouged-out eye. So I have to say, this left me feeling a little frustrated. You could take that as being sexual, but I mean it more in terms of my intellectual thirst, okay? Despite continuing to grumble discontentedly along those lines, Professor Arcueid dutifully performed a thorough medical examination for me. I was a little worried about whether my legs were recovering properly after that battle against Vlov. So after she was done listening to my heartbeat and checking my pulse, I asked her to give them a once-over as well. The results were all normal, no problems. Professor Arcueid isn't able to contain herself, pouting and grumbling. Just who am I supposed to be, Frau Footless? Well, your temperature is a little low. Okay, this is getting a little boring. So why don't I give you an injection or two? How do you feel about trying a placenta? Let me try that again. How do you feel about trying a placenta one this time? Normally this is used as a nutritional supplement for women, but I highly recommend it. I guess she's talking about the extract derived from a woman's placenta. Ew, Jesus. People mostly use that as a beauty treatment to improve their skin, but it can actually also help you recover from fatigue, and even combat the effects of aging. Yes, please. Have actually had it a couple times before, back at the clinic that used to take care of me. Oh my! I'm glad you're so easy to convince. You must be pretty used to pain, Just what I'd expect of a young man with a poor constitution. I wouldn't say that. The bulk of my treatments were taken orally. I only received injections every now and then. I see. Right. Let me see that arm of yours again. Okay. Zoom! Taking out the affected region and the patient's heart in one fell swoop. That might be the worst needle prick sound effect I've ever heard. With the injection complete, the medical examination comes to an end. However, I would have expected Professor Arcueid to leave now that her work is done, but she simply stays exactly where she is, staring intently at my body. Professor? Was there anything else? Yep. I caught a glimpse of something during the exam that has me a little curious. Shiki-chan, could you whip those clothes off for me? Huh? You want me to get naked? Yup. But I don't need you to strip all the way down. After all, I don't want to be killed by Matriarch-chan just yet. I just want to get a good look at your upper body. You have an incredible scar on your chest, don't you? So that's what you meant. Well, sure, I guess. I don't particularly want to do this, but since Professor Arcueid is a doctor, I've no real reason to refuse her. I take off my shirt and sit on top of the bed. Splendid! How splendid! Juicy as maple syrup.
I thought I already knew how fine your arms were, but seeing them laid out like this has got me all riled up. Even if I were locked down away in a cellar all winter, I wouldn't go hungry if I had Shiki-chan around. Professor Arik pokes and prods me all over my shoulders, upper arms and sides, looking like she's thoroughly enjoying herself. Combined with her rather revealing garments, I have to admit I find myself struggling to suppress my baser urges. Weren't you going to look at the scar on my chest? Oh, so I was. My bad, my bad. Huh. I see. I'm not sure what they used, but it seems to have healed over nicely. You may be frail, but perhaps your metabolic functions are ordinary after all. Or maybe it was just that survivable. How utterly disappointing. There isn't anything particularly wrong with this either. I get the feeling there's not much for me to do here. After 2 minutes of careful examination, Professor Arik gets up from the bed, her curiosity seemingly satisfied. But I must say, that is quite the scar. Not just in human terms either. Even the vampires you see in movies would die from something like that. But I wonder how much it would hurt at the time. Just imagining it makes my heart go wild. Is that so? I was told that it was a fragment of flying glass that did it. I got a little flustered by the sudden mention of vampires, and blurted out an unnecessary explanation. What's that? You don't remember? You don't remember, do you? In that case, let's have that topic for another time. You did only just return, after all. Besides, it's not like you could run away now, no matter how hard you try. Hold on. Is it me? Or did this woman say something strange? Did she say something strange? It's not like you could... In that case, let's save the topic for another time. You did only just return. Besides, it's not like you could run away. You did only just return? Just kidding! Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Well then, it's time for me to take my leave. Maybe we can meet again when the time is right, Professor Arik leaves the room, her heels clicking against the floor as she goes. What was that about? I'm not sure why. But her retreating figure reminds me of a spider slinking toward its prey. It's now the afternoon. After finishing a light lunch in the dining room, I returned to my room. Hisui had been emphatic about the fact that I should spend the day resting, but I now find myself without anything to do. I've already recovered anyway, so I'll walk around the first floor of the mansion or walk around the second floor of the mansion. Okay, so the first floor of the mansion should have, like, I think, like, the sitting room, the kitchen, probably Hisui and Kohaku's rooms, I think. The second floor is where all the juicy shit is, right? So, after pondering what to do for a bit, I decided to take my first real stroll around the mansion in 7 years. I'll start by wandering around the second floor. The Tohno mansion consists of 2 wings, east and west. To the east is the office reserved for the head of the Tohno family, and beyond that are Akiha's private quarters. You could consider the whole area to be her domain. I'm a bit hesitant to go there,
so I'll stick with the West Wing today. I go out into the corridor of the West Wing. The passage directly to my right leads to the lobby. If I continue straight, the corridor will take me to the heart of the West Wing. And of course, if I go backwards, I'll be right back in my own room. I was told that the rooms opening onto this corridor are, for the most part, entirely vacant. It seems like they were rented out to our relatives back when my father was still alive. If I remember correctly, that door at the end of the hall. I'm pretty sure that's the room Tonomaki Hisa used as a study. I thought the office was used as the study. Arcueid's words from last night come to mind. You can't assume you're the only special one. It's something that runs in the family. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But she would never say something like that without a good reason. I'll investigate Makihisa's study or not pursue this any further. Well, we're gonna pursue this further, obviously. We're not a fucking pussy after all. Aki has gone to school. Kohaku-san left to go shopping, and Hisui's busy cleaning on the first floor. Right now, I'm the only one on this corridor. Rummaging through a dead man's room may be against the rules, but I'm a member of this family, aren't I? It can't be that big of a deal for a son to enter his father's room. Jesus. The room at the end of the corridor is locked. I take my glasses off and sever the line on the lock. There's no going back now. I glance around the corridor to confirm that nobody has spotted me, and then slip inside. What's up with this room? Why is it so dark? You can't make a room this dark just by drawing the curtains. I put a hand on the wall and start groping for the light switch, but then think better of it. Turning on the lights might alert someone on the outside to my presence here. It's possible I'm just being overly cautious, but I'll limit myself to using the light on my phone to look around. Huh. It's a lot tidier than I expected. The interior design is reminiscent of the office that Akiha now uses. Well, our old man was still using this room up until a month ago, so no surprises there. Even the bookshelves are still arranged as he left them. The only puzzling thing here is why it's so damn dark. I point my phone toward the window to try and spot what's going on with the curtains. Huh? There I find a bizarre seal. The sort you'd never expect to see in an ordinary room. An iron grill? But why? It's enough to make me doubt my own eyes. But, unbelievable as it is, the thing in front of me is definitely real. The window in Makihisa's room has been completely sealed shut. It's not dark in here because of a few blackout curtains blocking all the sunlight. It's because this massive iron grill has been firmly secured over the entire window. The grill looks as though it's designed to prevent anyone entering from outside. Or perhaps its purpose was to keep something locked inside. This is bad. I don't know what this darkness is trying to reveal to me. But I can tell it's a secret that should never have come to light. This place is a cage, built to contain madness. I need to get out of this room immediately. Nobody can know that I was in here. Not Akiha, not Kohaku-san. Nobody. If they were to find out, I have a suspicion that there would be no going back to the relationship we've enjoyed until now. Wait, I've already come this far. Why am I getting cold feet now? I press on, lighting the way with my phone. I'm curious about the bookshelves, but I don't have time to go through them right now. Having a look through the drawers in Makihisa's desk takes priority. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but my old man was extremely meticulous. There's a good chance they contain documents pertaining to the company, Akiha, or even myself. There was nothing in the desk drawers, or at least nothing in the first two, which were already unlocked. The third drawer is shut tight. I guess that nobody was able to open it after he died, so it was just forgotten about. Once again, I take off my glasses and kill the lock. A book? Is this a diary? Inside was a bundle of old papers and a thick diary. The papers seemed to be the Tohno family tree. He should not be finding this early. Wait, what the fuck? Why is something like this in here? This paper looks really old, too. I wonder how many generations have left their mark on these pieces of paper. There's no mistaking it. Below the name of Tohno Makihisa are the names of Tohno Shiki and Tohno Akiha. They're there, but... What's this? That old man adopted a child 9 years ago. Ah, but they died from an illness soon after. 9 years ago. I would have been 8 years old. I know it was a long time ago, but even so, I don't remember them at all. Maybe he had a child with a mistress and was keeping them a secret somewhere outside the mansion? Was someone so unbearably uptight as Makihisa even capable of a thing like that? Yeah, no way that's what happened. But all the family heads have been surprisingly short-lived. The old man passed away before he hit 50. The one before him died in an accident at 35. Their predecessor committed suicide at the age of 18. Wait, hold on. Something definitely doesn't add up here. I scan over the family tree again, taking a closer look this time. There's no mistake. All the members of the Tohno family have died under unusual circumstances. He should not be finding this out this route, or this early. Wait, what's going on here? Suicide, accident, murder, disappearance. Well, that last one's not so bad. Not a single one of them has peacefully lived out their natural lifespan. The unbroken sequence recorded here can only be described as a curse. Stranger still that the majority of the deaths were suicides. The heads of the Tohno family repeatedly took their own lives, some before they even became an adult, others not long after. My vision begins to grow dim. I feel as though all the blood is pooling in the back of my head. Limbs have become unsteady, and my breathing is gradually getting more and more labored. I try and escape the dizziness and unpleasant premonitions by turning my attention back to the diary. I turn over the page. The date reads 2004. The year the child Makihisa adopted died of an unknown illness. I scanned the text written in the diary. The handwriting fits my old man perfectly. Concise, but neurotic. I read the day's entry aloud, speaking as though delirious with fever. The Tohno family's cursed. All children born in the modern era are of atavism resulting from... This was written over 10 years ago, but the ink is blurred to the point where I can barely read it. Of course, myself and my children are also no exception. Akiha in particular looks strong. Thinking about my children's future brings me sadness. According to the doctor that I was referred to, if she receives strict instruction from an early age, her genes... They say that surgery is necessary tonight as well. I can't let Akiha know. I'm sure my daughter resents me for it. She must despise me for being so harsh to her for no discernible reason. It's all because of the Tohno. But I'm relieved. No matter how similar Akiha's blood may be, compared to her brother, she's far more human. What the hell is this? The Tohno family is cursed? Atavism. Performing surgery on Akiha. And that final line. Who was he referring to? I am flipping out right now. Her brother. Her brother. Her brother. That has to be me. I don't know who else. Good afternoon, Shiki-kun. What?! My stomach hurts? The wound on my chest has gone numb many times before, but this sort of experience is a first. A sharp stabbing pain, as though a scorching iron rod were searing my internal organs. I start to lose feeling, first in my toes, but the rest of my body soon follows. I begin to collapse, clutching at the desk for support. But my outstretched hands can't hold on forever, and I crumple to the floor, landing on my back. That diary is bad news. After all, it hasn't been properly redacted yet. Not that I'd intended to let you see it anyway. My consciousness fades. That man is definitely... I was hoping to have you stir up that immature family head a little longer, but c'est la vie. I don't know how you managed it, but I'm afraid that obtaining that key sealed your fate. I realize that my breathing has already stopped. The lines of death, my headache, they felt so concrete, but they're gone now. I see. Only now that things have come to this do I realize. That annoying headache would have actually saved me. I mean, without it, I'll never be able to wake up. The body of Tohnoshiki, which had been doomed from the start, falls deeper and deeper into a sleep from which it will never awake. God damn it! Son de la bitch! Alright. Enter hint corner number 8? Yeah, sure. Why do birds sing? Why do shrimp leap? Why did the protagonist break into a locked room?
The intellectual program that tackles the countless mysteries of human history head-on. Teach me, Seal Sensei. Starts right now. Hello there. Are you feeling well rested after the lack of dead ends in days 6 through 8? The story's really starting to heat up now. From here on out, the number of dead ends will only increase. I hope that the wise and prudent Tohno-kun will choose his path with great care going forward. Now, as for the cause of this dead end, you were stabbed in the back, weren't you? Seems like Four Eyes didn't get the memo about being careful, nyeh. Or maybe that bandaged guy is more capable than he looks. As captivating as that room may be, Tohno-kun is squarely at fault for being so careless. Besides, this kind of undercover work is best done in pairs. One person to watch the door to spot anyone coming, while the other examines the documents. It'd be best to refrain from investigating this study until you're able to team up with someone you can rely on. Just like a spy! Do we know anyone who fits the bill? Well, Seal is a martial artist, so I don't think she's cut out for that sort of thing. As a lone operator, there's nothing I can't do. But supporting Tohno-kun while infiltrating? Frankly, it would not suit me at all. It'd be nice if you could find that ally someday. You just revealed a new flag. Who could it be? One of the maids? Sachin? Well, I guess we'll see. Either way, whatever's going on here has no connection to our vampire case. Now then, the cause of death is clear this time, so you can simply go back and pick the other choice. A wise man steers clear of danger. Make me give Tonomaki Hisa study a miss, and head somewhere a little safer. The inside of that mansion is lousy with death traps. Just what the heck is going on in there?
Interesting. So, anybody who's read the original or watched my playthrough or my dramatic reading of the original Tsukihime last year knows that that information is pretty much never revealed in the near side. That's something you find out in the far side. And there was no, like, other people besides Akiha, Hisui, and Kohaku in the mansion to fuck with you or to prevent you from really going through anything in the mansion. But in this one, we've got Goto, Aruk, and who knows who else. So yeah, I guess the mansion is a little bit more dangerous this time around. But it's interesting that they even put that in this to begin with, so. Not only, because, like, the only dead end in the original Tsukihime that had any actual, like, information to it was the one where you go meet with Arcueid despite Akiha telling you to rest. Because then you learn a bunch about, like, vampires, I think. And then Roa kills you. But I guess in this one, the dead ends are a little bit more fleshed out. So even if you run into one, it's not that bad because at least you're getting more of the story. So that's interesting. Kind of annoying for us, though. Okay. What's the skip button? I forget. It's this button. Okay. Well, I don't think this affects anything because it's not like you can. It's that shadowy figure. Thinking back on it, that guy was waiting for me. He knew the path I'd take on my way home. There's no way that black shadow was human. As such, we can reasonably assume that he was a vampire. Maybe Arcueid's enemy decided to pick off her collaborators first, rather than target her directly. Well, not like we'll be seeing it again. Those eyes that were twisted in hatred. That vampire who could see the same lines as me has already been exterminated by the woman in the nun's clothing. Oh, well, okay then. Well, might as well talk to Kohaku this time, I guess. On second thought, I'd rather have Kohaku-san do it. My anemia is a product of fatigue, but along with a prescription for some nutritional supplements, I should also ask her for something to help with the eye strain and vertigo. Though I'm not keen on letting her get too close of a look at my body. I have a number of scrapes and scratches from my scuffle with Noelle-sensei last night, and if by some chance I did develop some more significant bruising, I doubt I'll hear the end of it. Shiki-san, you brute, how did you manage to hurt yourself this badly? I can already picture her scolding me for it.
Geez, Shiki-san, you grunt. How did you manage to hurt yourself this badly? Your back is completely red.
Yeah, sorry, I regret my actions. It's been less than a minute, and as I predicted, she's already forced me to remove my shirt and gotten cross about what she's found. I'm also intensely curious just what Kohaku-san was picturing when she called me a grunt. I was walking back from school and tripped on my way back up the hill. Wham! Out flat, kissing the ground.
Well, you have my sympathies. I'll prepare a compress, so just sit tight for the time being. Actually, if you wouldn't mind checking your temperature while I do, that would help me out.
With the first aid kit she brought still in her hand, Kohaku-san stands up from the bed. I vacantly watch her back as she goes to leave. She really is impressively meticulous. She could just as easily leave the first aid kit here. Damn, I'm really out of it. Kohaku-san, you can leave the first aid kit behind. You're coming right back after all.
No. This kit is full of medicines to calm the mind, so I'm switching it out for one tailored toward treating bruises. And besides, look, this room is so nice and clean. It'd be inexcusable for a servant to clutter it up with their personal effects.
I see. But you don't have to worry about my room. It's not like I care that much about tidiness. Excuse me.
Is that so? But I think your room looks quite refreshing.
That's only because I don't have much belongings. Though, I suppose that's just due to the way everything shook out.
That reminds me. The only luggage that we received from the Arima family was your clothes. Do you not have any other personal belongings?
Nope. The things I put in my bag were all I needed. I brought everything I hold dear with me when I came here. The first day after I returned to the mansion, I took all of my belongings out of my school bag and tucked them away in the desk drawer. If I'm ever kicked out of the mansion again, I only have that drawer's worth of stuff to pack. So it's convenient in that sense.
I'm sorry. If it had been me... When you were entrusted to the Arima household, Makihisa-sama confiscated all of your personal belongings, correct? Huh? No. It's always been like this. There was never anything I really wanted, so I didn't have anything to pester my old man for. Huh. I actually don't remember much from around the time of the incident, though, so I can't be entirely sure. I think back on the time I spent alone in the hospital. No one had come to visit me, and I was so terrified of seeing the lines of death that I ran out of the hospital. I met Sensei as a result, though, so I suppose it worked out pretty well for me in the end. That reminds me. I can vaguely recall stopping by here just once after my stay in the hospital. But the only thing I can really remember is being called into my old man's study. When I got there, I was served a letter stating that I was no longer fit to serve as the eldest son of the Tohno family. I'm sure that you must have been tired after your long stay in the hospital. Being under medical care can be quite mind-numbing, so perhaps you were still feeling a little bleary that day. I think so. After all, I'd been in the hospital for almost half a year, though it felt to me like it had only been a month. That's a good thing, Shiki-san. Spending half a year in the same room would be an unpleasant experience, even if you weren't in the hospital. Give me just a second, I need a swig of something here. Ugh. Normally at that age, you'd want to be playing around instead. It's just as Kohaku-san says. The fact that my time in the hospital fell short was thanks to the people around me treating me well. I've nothing but gratitude for the doctor who saved my life, and for the kind nurses who took care of me over the course of my stay. Oh, silly me. I got too caught up in the conversation. I'll be back shortly, so please stay right here for me, okay? If you sneak away because you dislike medical care, I'll be forced to label you as a capricious kitty. Leaving me with a supernova of a smile, Kohaku-san goes to fetch a compress. So that was like a much better thing than what Arc, because all Arc did was like check up on me and said that I was totally fine, but Kohaku said that my back was red, or Shiki's back was red. So like obviously Arc Sensei lied or just didn't notice that I was injured. That's weird. So I think there's another decision that says that we can turn back if we go to the second floor, but maybe we should just go to the first floor. I don't want to get fucking killed again. That was such bullshit. After pondering what to do for a bit, I decide to take my first real stroll around the mansion in 7 years. I'll start with the first floor and the adjacent courtyard. I squint at the rays of sunlight streaming through the skylight. No matter how many times I see it, the Tohno Mansion lobby is always an overwhelming sight. As a child, I often got in trouble for exploring the mansion. Back then, the mansion was like a castle to me. I was convinced there was a hidden door somewhere that would lead to a world full of never-before-seen wonders. Somewhere between then and now, I lost that childlike naivete, along with my unforgiving father.
All of that is in the past now.
This really takes me back. Just walking down the hallway used to be enough to make my heart race with excitement.
I begin to recall bits and pieces of how I used to sneak around the lobby 7 years ago. As if beckoned by those memories, I begin leisurely walking around the mansion. I head out onto the terrace. Strangely enough, I seem to remember the outside of the mansion better than I do the inside. The Tohno residence is vast. The mansion itself is already 10 times larger than the average house, but the grounds it stands on are the size of your average amusement park. 7 years ago, I would have been 10 at the time. It must have seemed like a world brimming with adventures to be had. Each day I used to methodically walk around, carving my name into trees on the ground. It was a part of a game I used to play with Akiha back then, in which we would each try and steal territory from each other. We'd agreed that anywhere you carved your name became your territory, so the two of us would run all over the mansion, carving our names wherever we could. Come to think of it, most of the time I spent playing with Akiha was spent in this garden. Unlike me, Akiha would actually abide by Amakihisa's rules, which only allowed her to play around for half an hour each day. Though, despite that, she would still trail behind us when we went off to have fun, quietly listening in on what we said from a distance. And when it came time for her to join in, she did so with gusto, running around and competing with us for victory in whatever we were up to. I guess the foundations of her personality were already in place, even back then. She must have hidden herself, her true self, under 5, maybe even 6 layers of disguises in front of our father. Well, even with all of that said, Aki has changed a lot since then. I failed to predict just how much could happen over the course of 7 whole years. Time passed, and she grew up to be a fine adult. Akiha and I are no longer the children we once were. Oh, here it is. The exterior of the gazebo built in the courtyard. Low down on the columns, in the nooks and crannies of the sun's rays that the sun's rays can't quite reach, you can still see where letters have been scraped into the stone. I circle around the gazebo, tallying up the crumbling words. Shiki, Akiha, Shiki, Shiki, Shiki. It seems like there were 5 matches that took place here. Just like the other spots, it seems like the win-loss ratio favored me. I'll chalk that up to the fact that as a girl, Akika didn't have quite the same freedom to roam around that I was given. Jeez, I should have just gone easy on her. Even if I reflect on my behavior as a child, the number of markings won't change. I wonder how many times Akiha, who hated to lose, shed tears of frustration as a result. I see. Maybe the way she's acting now is her way of settling the score. It seems pretty unlikely, given that we're talking about Akiha here. But on the off chance that that's true, it would be extremely adorable. It seems like I'm the stupidest brother ever. With a wry smile, I raise my head. It's been fun reliving these memories, but it's about time I return to the... Huh? However, high up on the rafters of the gazebo ceiling, I spot another set of letters. In a place like that? How did someone carve it all the way up there? There's no way a child could reach all the way up there. I'm not even sure an adult could. What's with that? It's my name, but... I step into the gazebo and climb up the handrail to get a closer look at the ceiling. It's carved in such a place that an adult would never notice it, unless they were crawling around on the ground and then stood up. Hidden in the shadowy recesses of the ceiling, in small lettering. Watch out for your brother? Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Watch out for your brother. It's not Akia's handwriting. But then, that would mean that I was the one who wrote this. I thought I heard a noise, so I turn around. As I do, I catch a quick glimpse of a brown and white maid's uniform through a gap in the trees. Huh? Hisui? She doesn't seem to have noticed me. I see Hisui enter the forest, but I have no idea what she could be up to. Why the forest? From this point on, there's nothing but trees. I can't help but wonder what she's here to do, considering there's nothing back there. My curiosity piqued, I begin to follow her from a slight distance. While there are no paved roads through the forest, trails have been constructed to allow people to navigate it on foot. It's said that the Tohno residence was originally located within the forest. The ground the current mansion and the garden sits on used to be nothing more than a trailhead. Apparently, it was only thanks to the efforts of the post-war family head that it became the way it is now. I keep walking through the forest. It isn't particularly deep, but I still can't see any end to it. Somewhere along the way, I catch a sight of a strange-looking building. Was this building always here? I wondered if that was where Hisui might be headed. But she's currently going in the complete opposite direction. A building deep in the heart of the forest. Maybe it's a temple of some sort. And so, after around 10 minutes of walking, my field of vision suddenly opens up. It's a field. Smack dab in the middle of the forest, the trees inexplicably give way to a wide open field. Just what is this place? I can't say I remember there being anything like this here. The spot is so perfectly concealed by the trees, you'd never guess it was here from the outside. If I hadn't followed Hisui here, it's possible I would never have known this secluded field even existed. Has this always been here? Uh-oh. Ugh. Whoa! Shit. Almost knocked my microphone over. If so, it would have been a great place to play. I don't remember ever coming here to play with Akiya at any rate. At least, I don't think I do. After some consideration, I decide to step out into the open. There isn't anything in particular special about this field, Hisui seems to have continued on as well. There's no sign of her now. Huh. It really is just a big clearing. The sun's rays are beating down much harder than in the middle of the field. Even if I don't look directly up into the sky, the sunlight is strong enough that my vision is all washed out. I can probably chalk it up to the fact that I just felt the cool shade of the forest. It's like I've been transported into a hot summer day. I suddenly noticed that the blue sky above is filled with huge, towering cumulonimbus clouds. The landscape is blanketed in a shimmering haze. The overwhelming cries of the cicadas. The sound of cicadas. My consciousness is being burned to a crisp. With a thud, I fall to my knees on the scorching sand. I remember. I'd forgotten all about it, but I remember now. The blistering summer sun. The constant cries of the cicadas. The smell of tears at my feet. The lumpen mass of what used to be a living being, stained a deep red. Ouch! The wound on my chest hurts. It's as if I'm being stabbed. Oh, not again. This pain. It feels like a kitchen knife being plunged into my chest. Channel viewers like followers. Cool bot. Anyway. It feels like a kitchen knife being plunged into my chest. I killed him. I killed him. I killed him. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. I hear a cicada's voice in the distance. Even though it's already the middle of autumn. The shimmering summer sun dazzles my upturned eyes. The lukewarm atmosphere makes me feel sick. All I can see the cast-off shells of cicadas. The thing at my feet is the empty shell of a cicada. An empty shell. Someone's empty shell. My wound opens. A bright red stain seeps across my chest, dyeing even my hands in a deep, glistening crimson. The silhouette of a collapsed figure. The sound of a young girl's footsteps approaching. The clouds high up in the sky. That blue, fleeting summer sky. Without warning, Akiha's bloody, tear-streaked face flashes before my eyes. The cries of the cicadas feel like needles trying to pierce a hole into my eardrums. What's happening? My chest hurts. I feel nauseous. My wound closed up long ago. Why does it hurt so much? My chest is being destroyed. The scar opens up, and a red stain oozes out. How could this be? My wound hasn't healed at all. It hurts. I'm scared. This must be what it's like to die. My consciousness fades. My wound opens. Pus spills forth. Consumed by the illusory summer, my mind begins to regress. As if my soul is slipping away.
I hear a thud as my body collapses, sprawled out upon that grassy field.
Okay. We're gonna stop here. I haven't done this in a minute. Dude, my voice is so fucked. That's crazy. I'm only at it for like an hour, I think, right? Ugh. Okay. So we didn't make as much progress as I would have preferred. Mostly because we ran into that dead ending. But as far as dead ends go, that's pretty interesting. There was a lot of unique art that we got to see. The chained up window, the diary, and all that stuff. If you've played the original Tsukihime, it's nothing new. It's just weird that it showed up here. And of course we now know that Goto is not above just fucking killing Shiki. So he has some type of incentive to protect Makihisa's secrets. I assume that that's probably not going to come into play at any point in either of these routes. So it kind of feels like him and Mio are kind of just like they're going to be more important in the next game, I guess, if that makes any sense. So that's cool. Yeah. I guess Arik too, right? Because she doesn't really do much of anything. But yeah, everything else is played out mostly exactly like the original novel, except for that weird message, watch out for your brother. Because, spoilers for anybody who hasn't played Tsukihime or this or whatever. But we know that Roa is, that the adopted son is Shiki, our Shiki, and that the real, Akiha's real biological brother is Tohno Shiiki. So either our Shiki or capital S Shiki was the one who wrote that message. So it could have been our Shiki writing that to warn Akiha about capital S Shiki, or it could have been the other way around. I'm not really sure. And Shiki doesn't seem to remember writing that. We never really got a clear motivation as to why capital S Shiki tries to kill. Was he? No, that's not right. He had the atavism thing, right? So he just snapped and tried to kill Akiha, and then our Shiki got in the way. That's, I think, is what happened in the original. Is that what happened in the original? I think that's what happened, right? But yeah. If you're not privy to any of that, I have an entire playlist of the original that you can go back and watch and listen to. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. If you were if you've been watching the VOD, thank you for making it this far. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/BerserkChip, where I do dramatic readings, and eventually we'll go back to doing some other content like fighting games and other video games and stuff. I'm currently waiting to save up enough money to afford a another SSD drive for my new computer, because right now I have a new computer. It's how I'm doing this. It's souped up. It's got like a 3060. It's awesome, but it's got a very tiny hard drive, solid state, but nonetheless very tiny. So I want to get a bigger one, just so I can have more games on it. So I'm waiting for. So anyway, in the meantime, we're mostly going to be sticking to dramatic readings, because they're just less. They take up less space on my hard drive. Anyway, where was I? I got. Oh, that's right. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BerserkChip. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/BerserkChip. That's BerserkChip with 2 P's, because I forgot the password to my previous account. Although I think, come January, I will probably do a big rebranding of this channel. Now that I've let it stagnate to the point where It's all fucked. I'm probably gonna change it to BerserkChip Live. I'm gonna look into seeing if I can do that. Because the BerserkChip with two P's is just too confusing. I'd love to get my old one back, but I just don't remember what the goddamn password is. So it is what it is. And then of course, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/BerserkChip, because that's where everybody follows me. I post funny memes. I post hot takes. I get trolled by Donkey's fan base because I troll them. And I post funny video game highlights, highlights of previous streams, some fighting game combos, all kinds of stuff. I post jokes, uh, whatever. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will probably stream Friday, same time, same place. And that's probably going to be it for December. And then we'll see what happens in January. Thank you guys for sticking with me. It's been a really slow couple of months because of the holidays, but it is what it is. And we will be back in full swing in January. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.